Thank you very much, Catherine. Thank you very much, Carlos. It's a real pleasure being here in Paris at Sorbonne University. My name is Benjamin Büttner and my colleague Bartosz McCormick. We're working at the Technical University of Munich. I'm running a research group on accessibility planning, and that's why I also will talk a little bit about proximity-centered accessibility. Catherine actually texted me 3 points that I have to tackle within the next 7 minutes. I will do my best, but we should be fine. The research group is on accessibility planning. So back in the days, there are 2 ways of actually achieving accessibility planning. One is by mobility-centered accessibility, and the other one, there's a paradigm shift that happens all over the world, but as you can see from some slides later on, in Europe there's really a driving force behind proximity-centered accessibility. So we can also achieve accessibility by bringing activities closer. I think I don't have to tell you here, this room is full of experts. Nevertheless, we thought about maybe starting with this. What do we actually understand under proximity? And you can see here there are many different terms that are linked to urban proximity. The most prominent one, as you can see in the middle of it, the one that really started the whole movement, thanks to Carlos, is the 50-minute city that you can still see here. We also hear about 20-minute neighborhoods, for instance, in Melbourne. So there are different tweaks, and that's also why many people shift to the X-minute city, because we can be a bit flexible, adopting to the local context all over the world. We also talk about complete neighborhoods, so that also shows us actually people should be able to fulfill different needs, should be able to fulfill a lively, fun a lifestyle that is healthy, as we've learned from the talks before. So we then digged a bit deeper, and we invested quite some time talking to experts, to researchers from all over the world, asking them, what do you actually understand under nearby? What is for you proximity? Because we saw all these different terms, different time thresholds, and you can clearly see here, the pointer. I'm getting old. I'm not used to use these kind of things anymore. I will do it old school. So you can see that over 3/4 of the experts, academics, believe that nearby is within 15 minutes approximately. So we also asked planning practitioners from all over the world. So you can see here in this little map, we had planning practitioners consulted in a survey in 22 countries from over 1,300 responses, that they also find a very similar threshold. So the 50-minute cities, there's a consensus that this is considered nearby a threshold where people are comfortable walking or cycling. So we could only do this with many different people. So at the end, it always comes back to people. As Li Wen also beautifully said in his talk, the 15-minute city, X-minute cities, proximity planning connects people. It is a bridge between different disciplines, and that's the power of it, I believe. So no matter if you're an urban designer, no matter if you're a transport planner, no matter if you're caught up in urban health, all of this is relevant in order to shape livable neighborhoods. We, as academics, love to publish, and in the Journal of Urban Mobility, where also Carlos Moreno is on the editorial board, we had a very early special issue on the 50-minute city, and we still have one open. If you're interested, you can submit something on proximity-centered accessibility planning. This is open until the end of January 2026. So if you have any research in place, please use this outlet as well. We've been awarded an impact factor of 6.1, so which puts us in the first quartile in different disciplines like transportation, urban and regional planning, as well as geography. Okay, and why do we now invest more on proximity-centered accessibility? This shift from traditional transport planning, where you invest more money into highways, into high-speed rail. Now we think about more investing in our neighborhoods, slowing down. So there's a difference. And I find it fascinating personally because I'm a geographer and I've been working with EIT Urban Mobility for quite a while, and they came to my office and told me, Benjamin, do you want to write a thought leadership study? I said, yeah, it depends on what. And they said, yeah, you can pick any topic. And at that point, I said, yeah, I'm fascinated by the idea of slowing down, of creating livable neighborhoods. And the hottest topic at the moment is the 50-minute city. So this is how our journey started into this fascinating field of proximity planning. We've then been approached by driving urban transitions, and this was another topic that Catherine told me to talk about. Driving urban transitions, I think many of you know it, DUT. It's co-funded by the European Union. They have a big topic area on the 50-minute city, where they each year fund lots of projects with a very big budget. They ask us, could you do a mapping study for us? So which of the cities are actually doing something? We collected almost 100 cities that are really implementing 50-minute measures, which is very, very fascinating. So you can see there's a transition from the academic to actual planning practice, and I think that's important. And again, one of the bridges how to collaborate, not just sticking in the academic silo. You can see here that most of them still are coming from Europe. However, I have to say this is just what we were able to find at a certain point. This number already increased a lot. Another interesting aspect to it is that there are 4 key areas that the Driving Urban Transition Partnership is investing in. On urban governance for mobility transitions that you can see here, but also on smart urban logistics. And you can see this is still very much in the minority. So this is something that needs to be focused on. But what is very nice to see is that a lot is about sustainable urban mobility. As you can see, 1/3, but the majority is on people-centered urban spaces and planning. So you can see that's the majority, and that also tells us, okay, it's about the people. We have to understand what they actually need, what their preferences are. And for that, we developed the Flowers of Proximity based on previous research from Gil Sola and Wilhelmsson at Gothenburg. You can see some postcards here. If you're interested, you can also have one later on. The idea is that you can pick wherever you want to be within a certain time. You will always start at home. Everything starts at home. You could also adapt it to a workplace and then say, okay, within 5 minutes I want to be at the supermarket, and you point it in. By this, you more or less paint your ideal neighborhood, your wish neighborhood, which is not representing most likely the status quo at the moment. But if you do that with enough people, you can get an idea of the place, of the needs that they want to have. And you can see here we did this with planning practitioners in Munich and in Milan. And just to give a very random example, in Munich, they need to have a bank and ATM very close by, which is very strange, right? But Germans are quite old school. They still need their cash. You still need to pay with actual cash. That's not the case in Milan. So the bank ATM is okay if it's around 8 minutes. In Germany, 3 minutes. So you really need it. However, for instance, if you look at Milan, they want to have a hairdresser close by, also within 8 minutes. The Germans don't care that much about their hair, seems like it. So you can see it's a bit further away. But actually, that's not telling us the whole truth. So you need to discuss that. A hairdresser in Italy has much more of a social function, where you want to go, where you want to meet people, where you want to talk. If you go to a hairdresser in Munich, this might be the most silent place that you can find. No one is talking, and so you can also understand a lot about the actual cultural differences. You don't only have to do this with places, you can also do it for different people, for kids, for older people. So you understand actually about their needs, and that's even more important, I guess. So by this, we can really tailor fit neighborhoods according to their preferences. And as we are rooted in accessibility, we created a tool on this. So you can see here Munich. We did this together with Plan for Better and our friends in Rotterdam, Humankind. And this is the flow of proximity that you can now tailor fit to your needs. So restaurant should be within 10 minutes, fast food 15 minutes. I need coffee within 10 minutes and maybe also beer. So you adjust the levels to your actual preferences. A kindergarten is not relevant for me at this point, so I can also avoid this. And then at the end, if you fill that out, you will have the tailor-fitted, customized X minute score for your needs on a building level. And these are the areas where you should look for an apartment, where you should look for a hotel, if you can afford it. So that's the other question. But yes, it gives you an idea about the city. All right, so that's one of the tools, but Bartosz will tell you a bit more on our latest, and this is the last point for the presentation.
Thank you. Yes, so this brings us to where we go next. We've had this flowers approach that we've used internationally, talking to people, and it's been really effective at getting into the depths of their needs, the stories behind them. We've made tools and accessibility analyses like the one Benjamin just showcased. We want to have a closer link between the two. And while the workshop-based flowers have been really effective, we can only talk to so many people in so many places. And we really want to increase our reach and spread this further to get more people involved. And this is where the digital flowers of proximity comes into play. We're happy to launch this today. It's our web-based adaptation of the flowers that aims to reduce the barrier to participate in. The digital flowers are an international survey that aims to get into the what and how of the X minute city. So what destinations are important to people, and also how would they like to reach them. And in this, we adopt a multimodal perspective, kind of adopting this broader X-minute city approach in the direction of the 30-minute territories. Of course, focusing still walking, cycling, but extending into public transport and even the car. When working internationally, when working in central urban places, peripheral places, we need to be flexible and understanding of the realities there, and to address the tension perhaps between people's desires and what exists and what is possible. At the end of the survey, respondents, through their responses, they make their own flower still in a digital format, and they also make a isochrone map to see what's in their neighborhoods. And to conclude, I'd like to come back to Mayor Hidalgo's speech yesterday, where she mentioned, really the power of maps. And this is key in our work, as Benjamin mentioned, and the data produced by the digital flowers can feed these maps and really make them context sensitive, something that, again, has been emphasized in this conference with the diversity of the participants, the range of cities that have been represented today. But it's not just maps. Maps aren't enough, as the mayor said. Pass it back.
You can also finish it. No, it's also about people, and I think that's crucial. So we have to listen to their actual needs. We also have to empower them to voice their needs, and at the end co-create with them. And you can see here an example from Costa Rica, where older people were able to express actually their needs and how they wish to picture their dream neighborhood. Here you can see students where we did a workshop together with Catherine and Carlos at the American University of Cairo, and you can empower them, you can make them discuss, and these are the future, so we have to give them the tools in order to think about stuff. And talking about the future, it also goes down to kids. So we shouldn't forget our youngest, because they have the brightest ideas that we might not even think about. So it's crucial to empower everyone to be part of the proximity movement. Thank you very much. If you want to join... If you want to join the Flower Power movement, please scan the QR code, fill out the short survey, and then you will get, if you show us the flower, you will get one of these postcards. There are flower seeds included. So actually you could plant them and then grow your own flower. Thanks.